Okay, here's another League of Legends game coming your way, this time from the jungle. And it figures they'd ban out Mundo, one of my own teammates at that, when this is actually not a bad game for him. He'd actually filled the need for the team's tank. So as is, I'm probably going to go for Elise. I don't know if Udyr got his mana buffs, but it's no small change, I'll put it that way. And because of the Annie, I'm a little tempted to go for him. It's been a long time since I covered
Only
Elise.
the spider is safe in her web.
So this is the page I plan on taking. Elise has a little trouble early on just because she doesn't actually have the the cooldowns or the damage to clear efficiently. Once you get the Runic Echoes, though, that's like a non-factor anymore, but until then, I am going to run Feast. Natural Talent, a little bit of extra AP, a little bit of extra AD, I guess. It's not really anything game-breaking, but still something. And then Bounty Hunter because I'm planning to execute some people. So let's see. Ivern, that means I can either start red or I can go steal his red after the fact. So overall, I do not really like the rumble for this particular comp with an Ivern on the field, especially Ivern Lulu. Like, the best thing you can do is split push, because they either have to send everyone, or you can just crush whoever stands in your way. They grab Lucian, and Darius. Kind of interesting Fizz got through the bans, to be honest, and no one picked him. Oh well. So first things first, once we hit this screen, I like to see if there's any pre-mades. One option I have is I can try to crush the bot lane early that way, even though Ivern is not a carry, he's a support. So his job is to actually just amplify the power of someone else, and if I can basically marginalize them to where they don't have much to amplify, then we can limit how effective he is. It's a little tricky to explain. The way I look at it is just the numbers usually. And if you're not that kind of person, you may have a little trouble. But anyway, I am not seeing any group tags that overlap with one another. Worth pointing out, we do not have any exhausts. We have a double ignite. Worth pointing out, Darius is running Warlords, so I don't know if he's a little concerned about Rumble. Rumble is supposed to be getting some sort of nerf to where you're supposed to play around his overheat, which, to nerf his moves for that, it defeats the point of even making him AP. I genuinely don't understand what Riot's doing pretty often these days. Now, normally in this matchup, Caitlyn has a staggering advantage over Lucian because of 150 range. It's just, I'm chalking this up to flex Q. It's that the people I'm paired up with don't actually know how to actually use this to their advantage. Like, they'll let Lucian get pretty much point blank, deliver a full culling to the face, and not really react. So, we'll see how this goes. The good news is these two are pretty immobile, and I would like to try to camp those two, and maybe we'll see how the bot lane goes. There's one way to get around Ivern is if Zed can just insta-gib whoever he wants. And more often than not, he's actually going to want to insta-gib Lulu more often, I'd say, just because you can take out her shield and stuff. And yeah, dogs are starting up. But worth pointing out, Lulu is running Thunderlords. She's not running Windspeaker, so that's one small mercy. I don't know if these actually would like stack on the same person or not. Since they'd come from two different sources, I kind of imagine they should, even though that may make shield comps pretty popular. It's just my line of thinking. So I'm going to grab the Talisman, even though on this side of the jungle the machete is pretty solid. And in case you're wondering why this is, eventually my blue buff's going to go away.
In the shadows.
And the second part is, by getting this, I can actually hold off on finishing the jungle item while trying to get the AP components and maybe getting a little bit of snowball going. Anyway, when you play Elise jungle, regardless of what happens, you start W. There's just no way to jungle her without your W. So if you're curious how she works, in human form, if you damage an enemy with an ability, you create a spiraling. In spider form, one of these little things. In spider form, your passive is you deal bonus damage and heal on hit with your basic attacks. Q in human form is a poke type move that hurts the enemy based on how healthy they are. In spider form, it becomes a melee execute type move. W in human form is the volatile spiraling. You send out the spider, it'll loop around somewhere or another, pop. It chases people. It's not really anything too special. And then in spider form, you have the passive effect of giving attack speed to your spiderlings, then you can hit W to give yourself a surge of attack speed. E is cocoon in human form. You fire your cocoon out, webs stuff up, 1.6 seconds stun, ramps up to 2 seconds at max rank. In spider form, you repel into the air. You can drop down a different location. You just have to have a target to land on. And when you do that, your Spider Queen bonuses are amplified, so you basically heal more and deal more. And finally, your ult is your transformation into spider form. So for the rest of the game, I'm going to be providing post-game commentary. So, things got really loud here, and as such, I just gave up on trying to record the commentary. And unfortunately, my mood goes to hell, so expect me to be a lot more ruthless than usual. But anyway, right here, as soon as the frame rate went down, that told me that I may be having lag spikes after this, so I was like, my expectations were already set pretty low, and as a result I wanted to try to resolve this game as quickly as possible. Now I went ahead and took the red buff because we saw Ivern with gang top. Whenever he does that, that means he takes the top line side buff, in this case red. Now because Lucian is really low, I'm making this move. Normally this is really bad, and I might have been able to save that for Kate. I don't know if his flash was up exactly. You saw him heal, hopefully. So I just went ahead and took that in. Worst come to worst, it's a stack of Bounty Hunter, so I'm at 1% right now. Now, unfortunately, I do not have Cocoon in order to actually lower this thing's defenses, so I have to beat it down the old-fashioned way. And fortunately, it's so early in the game, I don't have the CDR for my spells or the base stats that come with leveling. So right here, Zed is saying, hey, help. I guess since he saw me get the kill, he thought I was further ahead than I am, but I had to tell him, dude, that was a level 2 gank. And I can't stress enough, those are usually a bad idea on Elise. It's just the stars aligned where I could perfectly mirror Ivern's movements, and the Lucian took a lot of damage. Probably thinking that I didn't know about the red buff or something, I was going topside instead of pulling a fast one on him. So anyway, right here, since I'm being distracted, I ended up putting another point into the Q instead of the E. Now, that's not entirely a bad thing. I don't know if it lowers the cooldown on it any, but it does increase the damage ever so slightly. So that will help my clear a little bit. And at this point in the game, I only have 2 Spiderlings from my ult, so it's not like the Cocoon's going to help just yet. But later on, you will see me use the Cocoon as part of my rotation just to generate a 3rd Spiderling when they all get killed off. Now, we know the red buff isn't there. I don't know if it's warded, so I'm going to take the long way around and possibly deny them vision, so they don't know if I'm going mid, if I'm going top, or what exactly.
To divinity.
So in case you're wondering why I did that, that's why, because I'm expecting a ward somewhere around there. Granted, by now it might be dead, it's just I don't know what Ivern started with exactly. So anyway, Ivern ganks the bot lane. Zed single-handedly kills Annie. And unfortunately I'm too banged up to go after the Darius, but it's something I can try to remedy later. Like, one of the main things to take away from this game is how you need to move if there's an Ivern on the field. That changes your jungle routes, whether you like it or not. So you have the option to either adapt, or you pretty much automatically lose. So I do strongly recommend the adapting route. Now, since my team was not standing guard on the right to tell me it was there, I had to go ahead and go into their jungle and hope that he wasn't there. But if he was, I could just turn around and leave. It just stalls my clear a little bit. So anyway, on that back, I got the Aether Wisp and boots for movement speed. That way I can try to keep up with stuff. Because your human form, you have 325 base movement speed. That's the extremely slow speed that a lot of the characters have. When you go into spider form, you get the bonus 25, but now I also have another 25 from boots and a little bit from the Aether Wisp. So right here I wanted to get the Annie, but you can see Zed just killed her again, so I figure I can go counter jungle. Now, Elise, like, she's a little tricky. She has a mid-game power spike, and she's not really that great late. Hopefully you can kind of tell that from the video. So as a result, you kind of want to get items for her, but you don't want to farm too long, because then the items won't actually do anything for you. It's kind of a bit of a balancing act, and that's why I really don't like to play Elise. Like, her spells cost too much for how little they do. That's, like, the best way I can describe her problem. So anyway, we can take the Scuttle Crab, that way we can see Ivern moving down the river. Now, he's not very good at taking dragons solo until he gets Daisy, and even then it still takes him a while. So just keeping an eye on the Dragon Pit will help us, since that is an Infernal, I believe. Since I'm providing post-game commentary, I can't see the icon. Those are pretty good, especially in this particular team comp where we do not have a tank. Since there's no tank, we basically have to kill the enemy before they kill us.
Watch them dead.
And in case you're saying, hey, the enemy team's in a similar situation, remember that Annie has Tibbers and Ivern has Daisy. So they may not overtly have a tank, but they have some obstacles that are really, really annoying. So anyway, that's the blue buff. So we saw Ivern bot. If you didn't see because I moved so fast, I was looking to see if he had red buff. Right here I'm hitting this to see if he was smart enough to ward this. You can see that he wasn't. I don't know if they noticed that I actually hit that or not, but I can go help myself to the red buff. So yeah, Zed did not need my help in any way, shape, or form. Unfortunately, Rumble does. So for the way Zed was moving, I was wondering, hey, is someone up here? I moved to try to cover him, but we can actually see Lucian down bot. I didn't know if like Lucian was going mid to try to pick him off or something, or what, so I just wanted to play it safe. So anyway, I stole his red again, this time since he's on the bot side. I know he didn't take mine. And if you notice, his blue just spawned. So I can rappel over the wall. And right here I went into human form just for the rotations, but keep in mind when you repel you actually do have stronger spider form abilities. Well, passive, I mean, you deal more damage and heal more, ever so slightly. Unless you're gonna max Cocoon, which isn't really the viable thing anymore. It was at one point, I have a game on the channel when that was a thing. That would actually increase your passive heal and stuff and make it a little safer for you. So unfortunately Darius did get the heal off. He does have a Hexdrinker that's already been popped. He got his heal there, but I can just execute him. The two of us survived, and that is stack number 2 for Bounty Hunter. And interestingly enough, either Red Buff or Spiraling gave me the Cannon minion too, so I'm in a pretty solid position. I was kind of hoping this would get Rumble going, but he's gonna have a miserable game, just so you know. you want a clue, watch the CS numbers whenever I push tab, because I don't know how he's getting stomped that hard. One gank alone will not do that, I'm afraid. So I have all 4 buffs this time. I managed to get mine plus Ivern's. That sets him back pretty badly, because at this stage of the game, remember that his passive has changed to the point where he will share the buffs. So, while I denied 2 from any other character, in this case I actually denied a total of 4 buffs within these 5 minutes. And you can see Ivern's trying to focus the bot lane because I think he thought Darius was going to win on his own, and he wanted to try to focus the one lane that has potential. Unfortunately for Darius, since he's immobile, I love camping this guy. So I make sure to auto-attack him to slow him, to burn him, and then when he starts to make his getaway, I just go human form, poke him with a ranged auto-attack for the kill. So that's basically, he died, came back to lane, I killed him again to send him back, and Rumble got assists and CS off of that. Now, unfortunately, I think that's like the only CS he's gotten the entire game, so it's not going to quite equalize the gold, but it's going to try to give him a bit of an EXP advantage, and hopefully he can like use his moves then to come out ahead. Anyway, I have a lot of gold right now, so I can go ahead and get my Runic Echoes. This is pretty important for your clear. It gives you mana regen, and it's just really, really nice. On this back, I can go ahead and pick up my Hextech Revolver. I'm going for Proto Belt because Elise's ratios suck, so we need to get something to give her an additional ratio so she sucks less. Should also mention I'm going for Blue Smite here because they have a pretty immobile team, and I think I just need to stick to them, and I should be able to do more damage than if I had the Red Smite. I'm trying to remember what it's called, if it's Challenging, Skirmishing Smite, or something like that. I'm just going to refer to it as color, because I know blue is Chilling Smite. That one's kind of easy, on account of blue being associated with frosty things in the game in the first place. So right here is when I get greedy. I see Ivern's low, unfortunately Daisy interrupts the ace in the hole, and I realize, hey, I can get another stack number 3. Now I have to repel here, unfortunately. I know I'm going to die during this. Like I said, I wanted the stack. So if you're wondering why I had to use the repel there, it's because Daisy was in the way. I couldn't cocoon him or anything. If I throw the volatile spiraling, Daisy will block that. If I wanted the kill on the 3rd stack of Bounty Hunter, I had to suicide. And in doing so, it will also give us the tower down there, so it's not entirely a bad thing. The trade-off, of course, though, is had I still been alive, we actually could have looked into taking Infernal right here. So anyway, I have the Kindle Gem for some more health, I have 10% CDR off of that, and it's just going to help my rotations a little bit more. So Darius chose to sacrifice himself for the tower. He might have even just flat out tanked tower shots, I'm not sure, but for the commanding lead he has, that's not really a bad thing. He can either choose to roam or keep pressuring the top. The downside of pressuring top, though, is since he's immobile and I'm snowballing, I have the means to kill him. Like normally Maw Malmorius would be a great item for him to get because AP jungler, AP lane opponent. The thing is, just with how much penetration I'm running and everything, that shield means very, very little. It'll mean more later, though, but for this stage of the game, no. So anyway, right here I want to give the red to Caitlyn. Since she's doing a decent job, and I figure, hey, we might be able to get Dragon. I'm not entirely sure why I couldn't see it there, but oh well. I figure it's just something to try to tip that bot lane to our advantage, because that's the lane that's in flux. Mid lane we've won, top lane we've lost. The one lane that can be impacted, which is why Ivern and I are going to be paying attention out here, is the bot lane. So right there with the Infernal, our damage goes up, everyone is a lot more scary as a result, and like I was saying, that's really bad news for Darius' shield, since I now have increased AP damage. Now, unfortunately, the game is going to start winding down. You may be saying, hey, it's pretty early, but yeah, this gets stompy fast. And one thing worth pointing out, with the AP jungler and mid laner, Zed went for an early Hex Drinker, and it's paid off for him, it seems. Anyway, right here, poor Lucian. That's my blue weapon, bro. So I pick him off. Unfortunately, I already have his stack. He was my first one, in case you don't remember, and Darius was the second one, who's right here. I figured Darius was going to run away, so I wanted Scuttle Crab. I didn't actually think he'd try to engage, so gotta put him in his place. So right there, he flashes. Rumble answers with the Equalizer to slow him down. I use the Challenging Smite, and you can see right there, Mon Memory's shield gone. So there, Rumble can just run him down, kill him with the Flame Spitter, and hey, it's a kill for him. But like I said, he is so far behind, it really doesn't matter. So notice right here, Ivern saying, hey, Annie's intentionally feeding, and pay attention to what he does for the rest of the game. Right there I have the Proto Belt. I can go ahead and help myself to an Amp Tome, that way I have a little bit more burst damage. I kind of want to get Sorcerer's Shoes on that back. Unfortunately for Elise, she doesn't actually hit the 45% CDR cap quite as easily as Diana does, but I still want to get Sorcerer's Shoes because I'm trying to do the whole assassin thing early and then transition into a bruiser late. So in case you're wondering what my build is going to be, I want the Runic Echoes first for my clear, Proto Belt second for CDR, HP, AP, and then you get the active effect. Second item is Leandri's Torment, because you get penetration and it's just a pretty strong item at the moment. Now item number 3 is where things can start to change. I'm leaning towards Banshee Veil because I get some MR, some AP, and I also get the shield to help me protect, just for protection purposes. I can block one spell. Since I'm not letting, it's actually a lot more valuable for me than otherwise. And right here we just have to set up Darius's demise. So right here Lucian tries to save him, but they're both weak. I can kill them both. So right here I go ahead and repel. I thought his shield was down, but it doesn't really matter because Zed is right there. And Lucian's in a bit of an awkward spot where he has to choose who's going to kill him. He chose Zed, by the way. So going back to build, after the Banshee Veil, I want something that gives me armor and health. That's why I can't do the Zonia's Hourglass. I could look into either a Randuin's Omen, a Dead Man's Plate. The best one might actually be the Sunfire Cape. I'm not entirely sure on that. That part I haven't actually planned out far enough ahead. It's just some of the items for Elise are not as optimal as they used to be. So if you're not aware, during Season 3, I think it's the last part of Season 3 and the beginning of Season 4, the build for Elise was you go the equivalent of the Cinder Hulk, which was the Ancient Golem at the time, and you just do this tanky type build and rely on her base damages, but those have been nerfed, so you can't do that ever again. But anyway, right there I have my Sorcerer's Shoes, so 15 points of penetration, and like I said, I wanted the Leandri's Torment so that I have a total of 30 points of penetration right then and there. Now, on account of Zed being an energy user and AD, I'm hogging the blue up to myself. So right here, Darius screwed up. I don't know if he had to do that, maybe it automatically drops or something, but out came the Rift Herald, and on its own, that thing is like glass. So 25 gold, either Brand or Rumble, I'm not sure which one killed it. And yeah, that kind of wasted the objective for them, I'm afraid. So right here is a test of something that I was kind of curious about, and I find the answer is the negative. So I want to get Lulu's stack. So I want to kill her with my Proto Belt. And fortunately it looks like Proto Belt does not pierce the wall. Lame, I know. But my consolation prize has just arrived, so even though I use the Volatile Spiraling, Annie is so far behind I can just insta-give her. She's like a minion to me, so I smite her. So that's stack number 4. The only one remaining is Lulu. So if you notice, Caitlyn is right there. She's low. I figure, hey, I can give this to Kate. It's health regen. It's a red buff. I'm pinging it. Hey, Kate, stop typing. Get this damn thing. I'm so generous, I know.
Shut down.
So remember, Ivern was crying that Annie was the one feeding. So right here I was a little curious on how bad the damage to my jungle was since he was right there. Luckily the Gromp is up, which is probably my preferred camp on Elise because you can clear it so easily with your sheer amount of single target damage. Remember, her only AoE is the volatile spiderling. And the wolf camp was gone, so he did take that one. So I figure Kate has this under control. I'm just gonna help myself to the dragon. It would have been hilarious if I actually knocked her back across the wall or something, but that's not quite how the dragon works. So anyway, second Infernal in our pockets. You can see the team has assembled on the bottom half of the map, and it's time to close out the game. I was kind of hoping they would have surrendered now, because I was... Like, the reason why I'm not providing live comm is because I couldn't. So I wanted to resolve this as quickly as possible. So Darius wants to try to flank. He eats a full proto belt to the face, which I think only counts as like 2 bolts of damage or something like that. And he forces Flash and his Hex Drinker, or his Maw Shield. So I figure, yeah, that's good enough for me. He can recall, I don't give a damn. Because next time he shows up, he won't have that shield, but Kate picks him off for me and I get the assist. Sublime, I know. Meantime, I'm just trying to buff my CS numbers because I wanted the S rank from this game. When someone has a bad game and someone else gives up, that's pretty much your ticket for a free S or S+. And since I already died to Ivern bot, the S+ is off the table. I don't know if you actually have to get a flawless game or not. It's just a lot easier in that case. So they're saying dance party or whatever, but the thing is, if you, like, I'm willing to tolerate that if it's less than 20 minutes. Once it's past 20 minutes, either surrender or play the damn game. I can understand if you want to surrender, but your idiot teammates think there's still hope even though they're down like 9 towers and at least 15,000 gold. Unfortunately, on the North American servers, people are too stupid to realize how numbers work, that there actually is a point of no return unless someone goes AFK. But yeah, that's why I kind of feel bad for some of them, because I think they do want to surrender, it's just they're being held hostage. So as such, that's why I'm kind of not really trying to get kills anymore and just trying to take the structures so that we can end the game. So Lucian dies to Ace in the hole, and that's another assist for me. Now, unfortunately, my overall damage numbers for Elise are pretty low because the way she works is... It's kind of like Diana, to where you either deal all the enemies HP and damage all at once and kill them, or you have to run away because you don't have cooldowns. So as such, I'm going to be the lowest in terms of damage, but from the various ganks you can see, I basically just did my burst, and then I have to wait a while until I can do it again, so... yeah. It wasn't really a way for me to deal a lot just yet, but once I got the Leanders, I actually could start dealing more, because then my poke would hurt. It's just this ended before I reached that point. So a little bit of a disappointing match maybe, but that's Elise with her box. Still, my movements were valid, that's why there is something to gain from seeing this. And as such, I think it's actually worth uploading. It's kind of a coin toss, I guess. But anyway, that's it for now. I'm the Hero of Light. Thanks for watching, and goodbye.